The opener 3 seconds of the stream.
It's a D&D story. But it can wait.
I can mute it. You tell it.
It's not that bad. It's just mildly uncomfortable.
Okay.
But it was overall funny. But fuck it. The gist is you'll get the short version. You can get details if you want. But the short
Okay.
version, I was playing my changeling rogue, and we just got done negotiating like basically a contract to
Your terms and
join up with
agreements.
some very questionable people, and liberate a town. And so while we're preparing, we're staying in the wizard's tower. We got like a fucking suite because it's an extra dimensional space, so they just like summoned a bathhouse.
Uh-huh.
And we've been traveling like in game for like a month at this point. So we're like, fuck yes, a bath. Wizard gave me a free sample of a spell because we were doing some haggling. I had something she wanted, and she wasn't giving me anything I wanted. So she's like, "Hey, well, I make really good potions. Check this one out." Potion didn't have a label on it, but the DM seemed really excited for me to take it, and so I was like, "You know what? Fuck it." 3 guesses what it was.
Does it have
Reincarnation
to do
potion.
with farts?
Nope.
I want to say it was a stamina potion for bedroom times.
Stamina potion.
Okay, Mark is closest. It was a love potion.
Okay.
So basically, I had to roll D4, which I felt like that was rigged because there's like a little bit of tension between me and another character in the party already. So I landed on him, of course. And so the way the DM phrased it was like, you become instantly like attracted to this person, and if you already have these feelings, they get very much
intense.
Yeah, very much intensified. Like, okay,
so you're a catalyst potion.
Yeah, so we're in a bathhouse. The whole party's there. And I just like swim up. I'm like, damn, Froja, you working out? You got some fucking biceps. Let me and like he's like very clueless. He's very so like it turned into so I ended up like like just like going in, rubbing his back and shit. And he starts to like talk about like a story about what happened, and he starts getting a little sad. I look at the DM, I grab his dick.
all right. Give him the old dick twist.
So, whoa.
What happened?
What happened?
He's a druid. So after a moment of confused, like what the fuck's going on, he's like, nope, I'm out, and he turned into a snake. Swam away.
I'm not surprised.
It ended up being like a little bit of a this is the Reader's Digest bullshit version of it. There was actually like a few cute interactions along with it. But it was very apparent that my character was not in his right mind. Because I came to afterward and was like, oh my god, I was like, do I remember what I did? And she's like, yes. I'm like, fuck.
Dude, I'm sorry. Immense amounts of shame.
Yeah.
He was into it a little bit, but it was just the suddenness and the publicness, and he's like, yeah, we're not gonna do this here. So anyway, that's my random
amazing
D&D minor sexual assault story.
Oh my god.
Oh man, there's too many stories I may have in my back pocket on different shenanigans. I'll never forget. I was playing this one campaign. How it all started is like everyone woke up in a field next to one another. There was no recollection of the past. So you kind of like figure out your character's story through the context clues and stuff going on in the campaign.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
My elven rogue, very sneaky, very good, had a alchemist set and a bunch of vials.
Jesus.
He had one vial, wasn't labeled. It was full, and it was wax sealed. No idea what it was. So by the end of the campaign, we all get an understanding what happened. Everyone had met an untimely demise and they gave up their memory for another chance back at life.
Mhm.
My character had a sister who was actually perfecting this poison that my character was working on. My character had the only antidote. When we got to that point and that reveal happened, and she was already like incredibly wounded, someone broke in and there's a fight and like ended up poisoning her with it.
Mhm.
And like he just happened to have that. Well, after everyone had gotten through like their life wish, like his was like make sure that his family's gonna be all right. Everyone just faded into dust into the wind, and we moved on to I forget what deity it was, but we were now recruited into like their army as some of their like top legionnaires or something like that. There's a really cool story that goes with it.
Yeah.
Real question, real quick.
That's
That
cool.
also is really cool.
For that character, there's one point that stands out in my mind. We were actually in the capital, and as we were going through there, my character being a sneaky, lawful, evil rogue, creeps into people's houses. Well, there's a 2-story house, window was open, so he creeps in. In there, there's a boy that's sniveling and like quietly crying underneath the covers. So this man that's like 6'6", all black, moons to his back. He just very softly walks up with his elbow boots, lays a hand on the kid, and asks, "What happened, child?" And the kid ends up telling the story about like how his dad's very abusive, how he works, drinks all the time, beats him and his mom. So he heads on downstairs. Guess where he finds?
The dad.
Absolutely knocked out, just pissed drunk. Tied him down and taught him a lesson. It was a very slow and very evil lesson. It was like carving little chunks of flesh off and leaving a symbol in there. It's like, this happens again, this is going to ignite, and I'll know, and I'll come for you and finish the job.
All right.
So after he takes off, the kid asks, like, what's his name? And he gave some sort of like, some sort of fake name, like how Bruce Wayne would give Batman, for example. Yeah, an alias. I don't know why I was thinking, can't think of the word, but he gave an alias for it. Well, that alias actually spread through, and there are other people kind of taken up to be like Night Crusaders. And it's like a really cool ripple effect from that one interaction.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, when I'm on your stream and
Yeah.
like I like hover the mouse over the actual stream, I get like your this little thing that pops up over your face cam. It's got your logo on it, and it like it pulls up like a join giveaway, pick a card, scratchers, redeem tokens. Is there a way I can get rid of that or at least move it? 'Cause it pops up right over your face.
Should be able to drag it.
Able to drag it, and I think I can also get rid of it too.
For me, it's like pulling. It does the thing where I'm like trying to like pull an image to copy.
And did y'all know that Pornhub has loads of Minecraft Let's Plays?
What?
Yeah, there's an article that PC Gamer just put out talking about how Pornhub has loads of Minecraft Let's Plays, and they spoke to the guy that was making them and posting them on there.
Open source. Open.
Is Mark alive?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mark?
Yes. Talking.
Well,
Oh.
Mark, we can't hear you if you're talking, man.
yeah.
Mark,
Hello.
double check your microphone, sir.
Can
We may be disconnected.
hear me now?
Yes.
Very quiet. We're
You're coming in low.
Hear me now?
So
Yeah.
quiet.
You're quiet, but you're there.
Hello. Hello. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? 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 Hello?
Kind of like
Hello?
crossover
Can you
with
hear
like
me
a
now?
few others, and just design wise, I guess it lights up, but it's
Hello? Can you hear me now?
design's bad. So I'm like, I gotta keep looking
Hello?
to see if I can find a decent
Hello?
feed jacket.
All right, I will resume my hunt then.
Can you hear me now?
Like all the cosplay ones, like I looked for, all about the same kind of like cheap knockoff ones. So I feel it may be one that I'll have to go and like make my own and really put the time in to make the collar and the LEDs and.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
Huh. I have so much confusion on this damn thing. So my Discord audio input is at 100.
Mm-hmm.
Should it be at 100?
Yes, your input and output I always keep at 100.
Okay. Hello?
You're still good.
Hello.
Okay.
You're still going through voice mod for your microphone?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like fix and finagle everything.
All right, so go to your voice box section. Are you using Clean right now?
Voice box?
Yeah.
No. The crisp?
I say slap it on. Like I put it on Clean, just because it's kind of like the one that doesn't have any sort of effects and everything. I go down and the
yeah,
voice volume I have at like 77.
I do have that on clean.
Okay, of course, like 50, 50, 50, mix 100, voice volume 77. So that way it puts you at like a nice level, and your hardware should be able to amplify your voice from there.
Gotcha. Voice box. Mix and.
Welcome inside Mordecai's head.
Son of a bitch.
Hey,
Ride wife,
Popo.
happy life.
Perfect.
Wife angry. Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Standing next to the Lalafell Black Mage.
Alright, so we're going to raid the party. Get that thing away from me. Get that thing out. Okay, here. Close the door.
Sound like a Jawa.
That's
it
what.
does sound like a Jawa.
Houdini!
Yeah,
Houdini!
but you didn't even need to like raise your.
Yeah.
raise your-
Houdini! Houdini!
That's enough.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Sorry,
the first one you sent me.
I don't know if you've seen any of these.
It was at this time review that Mordecai was going to embark on a wide world adventure to where no one had a clue that Ross told me that we knew exactly what he was going for. The Lushy. The Lushy going into the wide world and you're searching for what they always search for. The Lushy is just walking over with gold.
No idea what you're saying right now.
But it sounds nice.
You two were going off to the world.
You had me
into the
for a
wide
second,
world.
but no, like you had me in the first half, but you lost me in the second half. I don't know what it was. Is like a switch flipped in my brain, and all of the words you were saying just turned into gibberish.
I lost them too. Don't worry.
Oh, perfect. Well, then is this any better?
Yep.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Very Stanley Parable so far.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was last on stream with this voice, and I got called daddy so many times.
Gosh.
You know, a little tweaking, and you could probably be very close to Markiplier.
Smash.
Like
God.
it's in that same range. You could tweak that.
Smash.
That's perfect.
All right, I need you to say, "I can milk you."
I can milk you.
That's actually pretty close.
Yeah, dude. Like that's really close. Like chat clip that.
That is scary.
If my natural voice wasn't so pitchy, I could have Markiplier voice naturally.
That's
whatever
dangerous.
you got going on, save it.
Yeah. I have this as my extra save. Yeah. I hopped into Born stream with this, and I've gotten confused for so many different people with this now. This is my favorite voice to
Yo,
just use.
Actually, while we're talking about Markiplier, like I've been mistaken for Markiplier at least 2 separate events.
Hey,
Really?
I don't know fucking how, because I can't grow a beard
Maybe
to
the
save my
hair?
goddamn life.
it
It was
was
definitely
probably
there.
yeah, it was probably when he also had his red hair.
Yeah, which he
Yeah.
hasn't had in years, mind you, but whatever.
Yeah,
It's been a hot
very
minute.
long time.
But so I was at an airsoft event that was like very Fallout inspired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, and like across like the faction I was with was very Star Wars
Blah, blah, blah,
inspired.
blah.
So I had like a combination of like Mandalorian inspired plates, but also like modern military inspired. And so I had all that shit on. I was waiting in line for my ticket, so I had my helmet off and my hair was out. And he's like, "Holy shit, are you Markiplier?" I'm like, "No, but thanks."
It's a good
That's a
compliment.
great compliment, yeah.
Definitely something to always have in the back pocket.
Yeah. And then another time happened more recently, and I forget where it happened. I think it was in a grocery store. It's like this guy looked at me. He was like, "Are you Markiplier?" Like he sounded like he had already convinced himself.
He
that I
was just
wasn't,
very
but the words
vague
were
and
already out of his
confused.
mouth. Yeah, and I'm like, no.
No.
No, my child, you were not. But maybe one day you could be.
Yeah, I think I said something along the lines like, "I'm doing well for myself, but I'm not that successful." But thank you. Yeah. So what are we doing?
Cross stitch.
If you guys want to do a little in character moment,
Well, let me look at your text because you brought up several potential things. Like
yeah, I know I would like to
during,
recap some current events.
yeah, there was recap. There was current war. There was squaring away any questions or like
Yeah,
mechanics.
if you guys have any questions, especially for some of the items that you have, I can definitely get those squared away.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you can ask us questions about the character. You kind of like dive into the backstory about him, kind of explain like why we developed the characters that we developed.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So I feel like chat would appreciate hearing about that. I mean, because not really you get a whole lot of time where you ask like the player about why or how they made the character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, especially.
'Cause I just actually had this last night. In one of the games that I'm playing, I have a full orc luchador. And they're gonna ask me like,
Sorry, go on.
Pathfinder
Luchador?
2E. Yes, he's a luchador.
Okay.
Pathfinder 2E, monk, wrestler archetype, right? So they started asking me questions about it. I went into how originally it was supposed to be like a jokey kind of character, but then I
Mhm.
dove into like lucha libre, like the history, the culture. It really brought
You got
more of that.
serious.
Yeah, then I got serious with it and really developed like he never takes his mask off, right? And it's a big thing about like honor in the lucha libre world. So like I got a chance to really dive into that, and I feel that our wonderful viewers would love to learn about like why someone develops a person like Mordecai or stuff like that. You know, like there's
Or if anyone
definitely a lot
wonders
of
what
things.
happened during the 30-minute phone conversation I had with you before the stream that we did with Ross.
What?
Yes, so the first time I got pulled in, Mark literally messaged me like 30 minutes before stream. Hey, I need you tonight. I'm like, sure, bud. What do you need? You know, I'm always here to help friends. Like, we're short a player. They want to run. I need you in as a guest star. I'm like, don't worry, baby boy. Run me down the system. What's going on?
Oh my
And
god.
in the
I was
course
the
of a
missing
30 to
person,
40 minute
whoa.
30 to 40 minute conversation, we flushed out his character, we had things set, and boom, he was slapped in the campaign.
And I've been around ever since.
Honestly, great addition.
Yeah.
Ross has been great. He definitely brought like some different perspectives that I don't think the party would have had, but like at the same time, like Ross says a lot of shit, right? And
Mhm.
like some of it comes close to like, would Mordecai be against this? But like you say it in a way that's like, no, I could justify Mordecai actually agreeing with this, just maybe not to the extreme Frost is thinking.
Right.
So,
So,
like-
the big thing for it, like for me, when it comes down to it, is that when I originally joined, it was just to go and help Mark out. And plus, at the time, like my girlfriend and I, we weren't living underneath the same roof. It was a way for me to spend time with her.
Mhm.
But since then, seeing the party is kind of like this, almost like baby-faced adventurers, right? It's kind of the vibe I got when I first joined. Like you guys were just kind of playing it by ear. You're not really too sure. You're just kind of going wherever the breeze sets you. So Ross is like, I can work with this, and allowed me kind of to jump in and build the dynamics that we have. And now here we are, a few years later now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, a
Yep,
few
it's been a
years,
few
yep.
years. Because this game started in 2020, or was it before?
2019, I went to
2019.
intro story and I scrolled up.
That's right.
So
November
you
2nd, 2019.
started it in 2019, but I don't think the first game actually happened until 2020.
Correct.
Yeah, because we had
Originally we had Stacy.
yeah, who by their character description is going to be the healer / some angry goblin of a person.
Like angry gnome of a healer. Yes.
Yeah. So that was probably going to be interesting.
And she was going to start out with a silver moon crystal and have her own Sylvite named Bacon Bits, which was like a little pig slime.
Mm.
That was a fun time.
I might be able to give hints about some of my backup characters because I have at least 2 that I've talked to you about.
Yep.
Because I don't know, this campaign's been really cool because the setting is really neat, and I've never played anything quite like it. Because like the magic is so structured, like as far as like in-game mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But then it does have a lot of room to play around with, and it has a lot of ways to be combined, which I know Mark is like foaming at the mouth for us to try in character more.
Yes.
Which actually we can talk about some potential combos like that tonight.
Yeah.
I've thought about a few, but I haven't written any of them down. But yeah, so after playing around with it a little bit, like once again, like in character and seeing what was possible, and especially the Sylvite stuff, like that was like, okay, I like Mordecai, he's cool. I've got a path for him, and I've got ways he can divert from those paths in like interesting ways for me at least, and hopefully for everyone who's playing. But if something were to happen, and as the campaign progressed, if Mordecai were to leave the party for some reason, which has almost happened several times, by the way.
Yep.
Not necessarily the party's fault. It's just trying to balance what's most important to the character, and like if some things had gone a little differently, like if we had showed up in the Seer and there was a long-term problem that Mordecai could help with by staying, he would have. And like, that would have kind of sucked, and I'm sure Mark would have tried to give me an out, like that would have satisfied the in and out of character vibe for it.
Yeah.
But at that point, I had already like worked out 1 or 2 like potential replacements, and that's the cool thing about that kind of thing is it's not necessarily goodbye forever.
Yeah.
I can't argue a reason why my character wouldn't leave to go do this, and I'm not gonna drag the party with me in it. Which, once again, if you guys had said no to even going to the Seer, which was an option, because I had originally planned on at least taking a break from Mordecai, if y'all were just not interested in him running over to Nasir and checking on his family, that would have been fine. And I would have just shown up with a new character next session, and then would have played it out by there, and talked with Mark about when to swap back in, or if Mordecai, stays longer, or whatever.
Yeah.
The more I learned about the system, the more I wanted to push the boundaries of it.
This is fair.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things that seriously could have happened too. I know there were people who wanted to jump in as either guest characters or as like potential NPCs or just maybe one-offs, and it was hard. I still want to get BMO and some other people in to do little guest spots, but either finding the right placement for it or something like that, it's been hard.
Yeah. You do still have a voice spot on. I'm not sure if that's
Yes.
I think
intentional.
that one was on
I'm-
purpose.
That one was a little on purpose.
Okay, that's fine.
I
just-
will say on the topic of guest spots, I know in Arcadia, I mean, you're building your own crew, and I think that once we reach a point where we've got a decent sized ship, you could easily pull them in and have them be like just crew members on the ship that are just doing things.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's nothing out of the norm to have like a ship chock full of people, and someone's like, "All right, I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna do this."
Mm-hmm. There's one guest spot that because of how it ended, because of how it happened, you guys completely it was kind of a your choice. Either you guys were going to get Colby as the guest, or you guys were going to get your other friend Tyler, not BMAO, but the other one whose name is escaping me right now.
Oh, Ironclad?
Yes. Because remember I gave you guys the choices to go to the Forgotten Alcazar or to go to the casino and do a heist.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right.
That was going to be the heist. And he,
Would've done the heist.
and Ironclad was going to run the casino there.
Oh my god, he would
Would've
have
done the
actually been so
heist.
good for that.
Yeah.
Oh, so we
It
would have been
still
trying.
happened.
Did you tell him that?
Yes. Yeah. I had this whole planned out.
Okay.
I have the maps
Oh,
and
man.
everything for it too.
Oh man, he's fucking hilarious. Oh man, I could totally see him leading into that.
I took inspiration from, of course, Ocean's 11, but also some Sly Cooper stuff, and was like,
As you do.
here
I
we
mean,
go.
not now.
I'm sorry. Instead, we had the Pit of a Thousand Trials. That was
Yeah.
the Forgotten Alcazar.
And now we have
With-
Colby.
With my excellent maps, by the way.
Eh. Eh.
So that's something I wanted to discuss. So taking a step back, character wise,
Mm-hmm.
Mordecai, I've noticed just as a player, definitely something you would see out of like the movie Atlantis. But like I could see Mordecai being someone a part of that crew, just just enough of an oddball to fit in, but damn good at the job he does.
Aw.
Hey.
It's like something that struck me. I was like, I could see like you could honestly take him and slap him in Atlantis, and he could probably fit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had an excuse for his cybernetics unless they.
He just wears
you know,
pants.
yeah, I mean he does wear pants, but yeah.
Not ones that are open on the sides.
No, like pants all the way down to the feet.
Yeah.
All the way down
got
to have
little-
those pants.
He's got feetsies on his
Yeah.
pants.
Gotta breathe.
That's something I did notice about Mordecai though. Like he could fit in that kind of, because like the personality, how the character reacts, how the character thinks,
Mhm.
and you got just enough serious moments in there to make it like an actual living being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I tried. That looks nice.
Thanks.
It's happening. But I appreciate the fuck out of that because I do try to make him react like a consistent human. You know,
Mhm.
because it's very easy, and I know I'm guilty of this, but it's very easy to get carried away in like a character meme, or like, uh, my character would do this in some circumstances and to be funny, even if it doesn't fit the current mood.
Mm-hmm.
And bottom line, we're all playing a game, but I do
Mhm.
appreciate that we all also feel like we're telling the story together.
Yeah.
And I do think, and once again, Mark, you're a great DM, and this has been a lovely experience. But I can only imagine like how much more uh like how much better we'd have been able to play off each other if this was like a strictly in-person
In
campaign.
person, yeah.
Now,
Hands down. Hands down,
now,
I know.
that
Yeah.
being said, we wouldn't be on episode 60 fucking 4 of an
Yeah.
in-person campaign.
This
So
is
you know,
true. It's true.
Episode 65, intermission. That's what we're calling this one.
Yes, yes.
this is the
episode
recap
65.
episode.
Yes. And I definitely agreed. I mean, having the one session where we were actually in person, like there was definitely a lot more chemistry between the players and the characters, just because like
Mhm.
there's a lot of nonverbal cues we can throw in there. Like I know
Yes.
between you and me, Mordecai, like there were looks, there were hand gestures, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Hand
communication
jobs.
without actively communicating. Hell yeah, hand job
Hasn't happened yet in canon.
in canon.
Oh my god.
I feel that stuff like that, Delashi would be doing a lot more of, because from what I've noticed from my perspective, Delashi is a very mysterious character. Like they constantly keep their cards close to their chest and don't really let people in. Like there's a few things where we let in, they kind of let some emotion out. It's like, okay, they're being serious about this.
Mhm.
And I feel getting in this arc, we're going to see a lot more of like actual Delashi. I would have thought by now that a character like that being like the quiet, more reserved, they've been like, you guys, like enough's enough. I'm out of here. Like there's probably a few moments I could probably think of that I would expect Delashi just to fly off, be like, that's it. I'm done with y'all. I need to do what I got to do.
Very close. Yep.
Yeah.
Very close.
Can I jump in on that real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Because Delashi and KT as a player, at least the way you're handling Delashi, because I've never seen you like play another character. You know, like I know you play other characters, but I've not been a part of that. So my only like role play experience of you is with Delashi. And I feel like Delashi is very much you're gonna have to ask me more than once to get the answer you want. And that's a little harder to do over like an online session
Yes.
that we stream.
is.
So sometimes, you know, Mark, I'm not like calling you out too hard, but like sometimes Mark does hurry us along to like move on to the next thing.
Oh yeah, no. Hands down, hands down.
So I feel like sometimes Delashi gets cut off in the middle of what they want to be like their investigation on a point. Like you gotta pry stuff off Delashi. Delashi doesn't like hand out things very often that are true anyway. But I feel like you've played that very well, where like you don't feel like a menace. Like I don't feel like you're a liability in that regard.
Thanks.
No. Like hear me out. Like
Yeah.
like there's let's lean into the D&D memes. There's the dark edgy rogue who wears all black. I have my hood up. I have a mask on. You can't see my face. You know nothing about me. Batman pose. I desperately want someone to ask about me.
Yeah.
You're not that. There are qualities you share with that, but you make it much more fun and like an actual person that just wants people to mind their own fucking business. Or at least if you're actually gonna ask me shit, I want to know you're like invested in the answer before I bother giving it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I get it. It's like pulling teeth sometimes to like. Whereas Mordecai, for the most part, is an open goddamn book.
Yeah.
Mordecai fills the role of a horny bard. Let's be honest.
He does.
He does. Like that wasn't a decision I made before we started playing.
Oh my God.
But yeah, out of the party, he is you know, he's the horn dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, every player falls into a certain role. Like, you know, there's gonna be players that are the face. Some players are gonna be your like intellectual. Some people are gonna be the charismatic, you know, horny characters. Some people are gonna be the edgy rogue. It's just kind of like natural tropes that we fall into. Thankfully, with our group composition, everyone plays it so well where it's not like over the top. It's more manageable and enjoyable.
Call me out if anyone disagrees, but I feel like we don't have one specific face in this party. We have like people who step up in certain situations because they're the most
no, fuck
qualified.
you. I'm the captain. I'm the face, okay?
Fuck off. Oh
But no,
my
I
god.
definitely agree with that. And like everyone plays like a rotating role, and there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of moments where we have to like just look at last session. You know, we had this point where like these characters wanted to come along with the party, and Deloshi was like, "No, I do not want to have this." So you had to have other people kind of step in, and be like, "Listen, we understand you guys want to be here for us, but this is something you can't be a part of. Like, unfortunately,
Mhm.
this is we have to handle this."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of my problem with that was just like I didn't want to deny Kobe, because
He
like
could
I don't
fucking
get any.
deal with it.
Well, see, I don't get many chances to play of Kobe, and so I didn't want to
Oh,
like.
so the real motive comes out. You want to play with them more.
He's fun. And Shalou is interesting, and like once again,
Yeah.
Shalou fascinates like Mordecai specifically for a lot of fucking reasons.
Mhm.
And like he seems useful. Trust is a strong word.
Trust is a
I don't
very
I don't
strong
I,
word.
I don't think Mordecai would use with him, but at the very least, he seems like helping us is in his best interest, and Mordecai believes as long as he continues to see it that way,
Mhm.
he'll be fine. Um, but that we can dive deep into that another level. But like when it came to like enforcing your decision, like I wanted to say something, but like person to person, I didn't want to hurt Kobe's feelings.
Mhm.
And so like I didn't know how to go about that best. But I'm assuming you clearly know him better than I do. So you're
Yeah,
like
that is something that
absolutely not.
I'll touch on as well. As like as not only as a player but as a GM as well. It's hard to tell people no,
Mhm.
especially those that want to participate. But there's certain moments where there has to be that line drawn. Like, you know, we want to have this moment for these characters that are kind of like your main cast. Bringing in a side character for it, yes, could reveal different thoughts or different outcomes. But is it really worth it in the end, though?
Yeah.
You know, because with any sort of tabletop, it is a collaborative story between players and DM. Like they're working together to weave this tale.
and I appreciate having guests like Josh, uh, not you, Josh, but other like
Mhm.
Netfiend, um, and
Nothing was
also
great.
Union, and also again Colby Black Knight. Uh, but sometimes it's like they want to crank that dial all the way to 11, and I'm
Mhm.
like, hold up here, gotta reel it back here.
Kobe was definitely abusing his position as a powerful sorcerer in the setting to give us gifts, and I will always appreciate him for that.
I mean, 100%. Very
Yeah.
good character. Very enjoyable to play with. But once again, there are times where it's like, Asar, we have to handle this. And like even in character, like Ross Spine, it's like, listen, you're a very powerful asset. We don't want anything to happen to you, so go back to the ship where we know you're going to be safe.
Mhm.
Yep,
And it turns out, according to Mark, that was the right decision because
that was the right decision.
Yeah, so rad.
Full marks, full marks. Good decision. Good decision.
Mhm. One of the few times that Ross has to actually be serious.
Yeah, you stepped in well.
All right, Ross. How about this accent change? You want to bring a little bit of that to the table?
So the one session where I just dropped it completely and kind of revealed like Ross's true voice.
Mhm.
He is born and raised in Valua, so he's gonna have more like that prim and kind of proper sounding voice.
Mhm.
But he throws on the southern drawl and the cowboy accent to help really block and mask his origins because he's not really proud of what Valua does. Feels very betrayed,
Mhm.
so he's kind of like putting on this whole new persona to eliminate that part of him.
Oh yeah.
And after a certain point, I mean, you can't wear a mask forever. Like it has to drop sooner or later. And it's one of
Yeah.
those points where it did actually just drop. I try like as a player, I try to keep within that same like voice range. But there's some days where I play and like my voice is just not want to cooperate with me, or I'm blanking on like where I need to set myself within my throat
Mhm.
to fit right in there.
Yep.
Same thing with Mordecai. I totally get it.
Mhm.
I know I've been all over the place with him.
Yeah, but that one session where it was just gone completely, it was like a whole different kind of voicing, very articulate, very intelligent. That was purposely done.
Yeah, it was very
Figured.
noticeable.
Yeah.
Like, it was very well done.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like,
It's his way of showing that he trusts the party because he can reveal his true self to them.
mhm.
Like Lisha knows because I mean they're fucking married. Like she knows
Yeah.
everything about him. But as for everybody else, it's that moment where like the walls come down, you guys get to look inside at actual Rost.
Interesting.
I mean, to the general public,
Quick
it's gonna
question.
be like,
No,
What's the-
thank you. Thank you. That was great.
what's the question?
I have a side question for any Photoshop nerds and friends here or in chat.
What?
I am trying to fix the images that I got from Mono. So the Ross and Lisha images have transparency for the backgrounds, so no white backgrounds. The ones that I have for Mordecai and Delashi, however, are not transparent backgrounds. I'm trying to make them transparent backgrounds.
The magic
I
wand
would
tool is your
love
friend.
Yeah.
to poke at Mono, but Mono's also very busy.
Let's see.
I'm gonna, for now, try to do this on my own.
I went to college.
Yeah, I literally went to. This is one of the things
I have enough art students in the chat.
Yeah. I just
Uh,
I haven't used Photoshop in a while. I would say the lasso tool, right?
Yeah, better magic wand. Which
Yeah,
image
magic
in
wand. Oh
particular?
yeah, you want to do magic wand.
Magic wand.
Yeah.
The white cloak might give you some trouble, just depending on where you set it.
Yeah.
That looks like the borders are fine. Do you want me to take a crack at it, or do you want to do it?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it my
Oh,
old college.
Mono, I don't know
try.
if this was intentional or not, but well fucking done keeping the gauntlet flame effects confined to the actual artwork, because trying to fight transparency through that is difficult.
I feel like I'm not looking in the right section of chat right now. Are we all looking at art commissions? Is this where like am I just not in the right place here?
Oh, I pulled it up on my end.
Yeah, it should be in art and commissions. I don't think have I put Lisha and Ross in art commission yet?
No, the last Lisha and Rost is the Halloween.
Ooh, let me fix that.
Oh, actually, the new one is not. The new Mordecai isn't in there. So I can fix that real quick.
Here, I will put all of them in the chat right now.
I do have a question for you, Delashi, with your character.
Yeah.
So, regardless of the outcome with Delashi's father, what do you think the next step in their character growth is? Like from your perspective, like where do you see them going?
This will be a fun question.
Well, the answer is I do have something in mind.
Mhm.
But past that, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you. It's actually something that I want to bring up, but I was going to bring it up closer to it actually happening.
Well, yeah, if you want to bring it up at that point, feel free to do so. You don't have to tell me now. I was just asking out of curiosity.
Okay. I do. It's very loose plans. I'm actually kind of like, cause I also play in the Kingdom Hearts game.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to find another motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is another one, but there's like the overarching motivation. I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I know that. I mean, just about anybody. Not to go and cut you off, Dylan.
No,
Everyone has like that moment where it's like you've done what the story you wanted to do with the character, and now you're not too sure where to go next.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you where I'm gonna go next, as long as you guys agree to help me.
Uh, there it is.
I'd rather we get to the moment organically versus us
Okay.
trying to make a decision now on it, because
Yeah.
saying yes and then kind of forcing it to go with it just doesn't feel right in the game, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay.
Like, I mean, Mordecai's had your back through most, if not all,
I
of
figured
this.
you'll help, but I think that it'll be funny when you find
Yeah.
out what it is.
Uh-huh. Uh,
I wonder if Mordecai would back me up on this one, actually.
we'll see.
It'd be
We'll
funny.
see. There's very little he'd say no to for you.
You know what I'm
Uh,
thinking, Mark, right?
I know
You know what I'm
exactly what
talking
you're
about.
thinking.
Okay.
That's why I'm laughing.
but yeah. So I mean, we'll get there when we get there, I guess.
Yeah.
I am excited to see what happens going forward. Uh,
Yeah, you guys are gonna learn a lot.
mm, finally. And
Finally.
Yeah, it's been very hard.
and I say that, and like I know we've like started and stopped a few like instances where we might have gotten some of those answers outside of actual playtime.
Hmm.
Uh, so my bad on the ends of that where
No,
I've
you're
had to drop.
fine. You're fine. It's more to your detriment than mine, because you gotta wait even longer to know anything.
Mm. But yeah, no, it's cool.
So yeah, I'm trying to find something like you know how you have Mordecai's like in his old age he would do this and that. And
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
got a
really
retirement plan for him. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just all so fluid and I kind of just I guess I just do what the character tells me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little hard right now considering things that are going on, you know?
Well, it would be harder for you with Delashi, I feel like, because like Mordecai has like a profession, like a physical thing that he's good at,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Mhm.
like he's tried to show that like he has a good heart, and so he's trying to well his ideal retirement right now is like going and basically being like an automail mechanic, right? Like just
Yeah.
help people who like
Winry.
yeah, basically just
Mhm.
get help people get high quality prosthetics that might change their life because he saw the future for a moment of like what the fuck am I gonna do without an eye on both my legs, and now he's
Yeah.
been given that back, and so he knows what getting that back feels like, so he wants to experience that, and he has some, not I don't think all yet. That'd be a discussion with Mark, but like he's on the road to getting that know-how and like being able to help. And that's a physical thing. That's a profession he can do. So that's a very easy, like, okay, well, once we're done adventuring, he'd probably settle down and focus on this. That's easy. Frost and Lisha, not to put words in your mouth, but
I was
you
gonna
know,
ask, like, if Roast had
my my my,
plans.
my knee jerk is like he's with the Bane clan, so he'd probably continue to, once again, knee jerk without asking the character of themselves. But that's a path available to him is just serving that long term. We see a bunch of old folks still serving in the Bane clan in some capacity or another. So like
Mhm.
I could see Frost at least like sticking around and becoming leadership within that clan and being more of a mentor role after he gets what he wants if he survives that.
Yeah.
Whereas Delashi, to our knowledge, doesn't really have like you're really good at magic and you have like the weird crystal thing. That to our knowledge isn't innate. That's a weird thing you've got going on for you. But we're not sure if you
Mhm.
completely understand that.
Mhm.
But you don't have a faction that we're aware of to fall back
Yeah.
to in that regard. You don't have like I don't want to like accidentally diss you and say you don't have a specialty, but you don't have like a working profession
Yeah.
like something that easily translates into like I could do this until I get old and retired type thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like that or at least hasn't been made apparent to the party. So it's a
Mhm.
tougher question for you, and I know more out of character than in character, that you're gonna have like a lot of big lore drops and reveals about your character, and we might find that answer coming up. But until that, I feel like you as a player, that's more of a pinnacle point for you to decide
Yeah.
where you're going to be able to take Delashi after that, depending on how we react and what happens after that. I ranted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's
No, absolutely.
interesting.
Like, it's definitely like a very interesting thing you bring up because for me, there's a definite end for Raw somewhere,
Mhm.
and it's ultimately going to depend on what happens. There's what he wants versus what he needs.
Mhm.
Now, if he gets what he wants, it's gonna be very messy, very bloody, and it's kind of be like going out in a blaze of glory. If he
Mhm.
gets what he needs, he's gonna see that longevity in his life. Probably be like a ferocious pirate captain, be a very big legend. Might actually end up being like the next Bane
Mhm.
Mm.
if he goes down that route. But
Yeah.
with how things are, it could be a very, very, very fickle process, all depending on once again what happens.
Yeah.
We all know Pip is going to, go into a life of crime.
Go and be that best thug life he can be.
Dip out in these
No, he's
streets.
gonna be a big boy.
That's something I try with a lot of characters to do.
Mm.
It's one of the like Ross, for the cyberpunk thing. It's one of the first things I talk to you about with that
Mhm.
character is like what he wants, where he wants to end up, and the main story is how does he try to get there. Now, what happens, but like that's at least the plan. That's something I try to do with a lot of my characters. For some, it's easier than others.
Mm.
Uh, like the rogue I was telling you all about earlier, the changeling
Mhm.
rogue in the Eberron campaign. His shit's up in the air. Like he'd have a solid answer at the beginning of that campaign, and now it's really blurry.
Mm.
Just because a lot of shit's
Mhm.
happened. He's died and come back.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, twice, by the way.
He's been through it. He's
Yeah.
been through some shit.
Yeah. So he has a much different perspective now. He's had some shit cleared out. And so he's entered a new like spider web of choice of, well, what the fuck do I want to do afterward?
Where do I go now?
Yeah. But that's okay. That's cool. Like he was originally supposed to be a guest character. I didn't expect him to stick around. So he does have like
Mm.
elements of your standard edgy rogue bullshit, but
Mhm.
it happened to fit well within the setting. And then just between that and how the story's played out, it is transformed into this thing that was nowhere near what my initial like blurb I gave the DM
Mhm.
Mhm.
before first session. And that's great. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts, Mark?
In regards to the characters here, or
Yeah, like what we're currently talking about, like end game stuff.
all right. So, what I think for the endgame session, especially for Delashi, uh, especially for honestly all the characters as a whole, as we're kind of getting into everything, is
Mhm.
That's enough.
I hate you.
That's enough.
I hate you so much.
Very,
I
very
tried
well
to
done,
bring
sir.
you into this conversation. I hate you.
I'm the DM. I have to avoid this conversation like the fucking
I'm
plague.
not asking you to tell me anything.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
asking your thoughts.
I think Delashi was trying to ask, like, what are your opinions of
Yeah.
where we think our characters are going to go afterward?
I think it's
Best
very
case
obvious
scenario.
when I'm trying to find out information, and this is not one of those times.
I think I think it's actually very comforting. Uh yeah, I see it's hard. It's hard for me to answer this question. um because I do my best to not only listen to what you say in character, out of character, what you kind of grow as far as the story, what kind of pulls to your characters, what kind of like just the ebb and flow of everything in general.
Mhm.
And I see it play out very very musically almost, to where a lot of you hit the right notes, a lot of you have the solid understandings of where you want to be, how you want to be. Honestly, that's for like Mordecai is a really good example of that, because as he said, he had backup character after backup character already fully planned. And it's because of hitting these notes, because of this pull in the story, not only between character reasonings and rationalities, but also us as the group and him as the player, it has shown that consistent level of progression to end game content, so to speak. With Balashi, the great and bad thing about you is that a lot of your stuff is both wonderfully hidden in the forefront and vastly fleshed out in secrecy. um for Frost, Lisha, and subsequently Gareth, there is a lot of breadcrumbs, a lot of trails. I enjoy writing for them or thinking of moments for them very much, because it's kind of I kind of take the Marvel Cinematic Universe's approach to writing Hulk, how everything's not only told through what characters they display, but also when it comes to showcasing and bouncing every aspect of them against everyone else. Because we always bring up the fact of what is Gareth doing. We always have those moments between Frost and Lisha with the Bane clan, not only playing off of their involvement, their rationalities, their hopes, desires, and sometimes lack thereof, of what could be next for them, what could be down that road. And it's always a good time. It's always something that I can kind of take a side glance at and be like, all right, yeah, we're yeah, I'm looking at this crazy fucking train of a campaign that I've been trying to build, and I look back thinking I'm going to see some fucking bullet-ridden, hole-infested train that I have no clue what I'm doing as a conductor, and then I look back and it's the Polar Express, and we're like, oh yeah, everybody's having hot chocolate, fucking having the time of their lives and getting on. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess, huh. Why is it when I look away, I imagine sheer horror, and then when I look at it, it's like, this is nice. Oh, okay, yeah, let's keep going.
Do you remember the Christmas episode? Like, you remember
the Christmas episode?
I think I missed that one. You had like an LMG, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Was murdering innocent snowmen.
I double tapped some snowmen tried to get away.
Like, they didn't even attack us.
Yep.
The time where I used OSHA violations to get through that dungeon?
Yes.
That was great. That was amazing.
With the swole reindeers.
Yeah.
Oh man. We've never like talked our ass off before until that fucking episode.
I'm like, all right, well, the cat was supposed to be evil, the reindeer was supposed to be evil, and the fucking everything else. You're talking your way through half of this shit, and at the end, I literally had to be like, all right, no, fuck this shit, we're fighting.
Quick backtrack. I feel like I've asked this before. Does Lisha ever, or I forgot it. I forgot her username.
Lionheart?
Yeah. Sorry, it's been a day. Does she ever get annoyed whenever we ask about Gareth? Because I don't know if she's like enjoying the fact that he's running around having adventures by himself and shit. But we like very frequently be like, oh, I know a guy. Oh, we know someone who could do this, like wink wink nudge nudge. Especially whenever it's like a lore check or
so
a history
honestly
check.
Honestly,
So,
for her,
but like, I don't want to ever piss her off with it. You know, like if she wants the character to be forgotten about, then I can stop mentioning it. It's just a thing where like, he's not dead. He's just
Yeah.
he just fucked off and started
no,
doing his own thing.
from what I can tell you, is that Gareth isn't one just to be let go. Like I know there's gonna come a time where she wants to jump back into that, but right now she's doing Lisha because Lisha Frost, very big thing.
Yeah,
So
Mm-hmm.
it plays better with your character, and I can get that.
Mm-hmm.
right, there are there are times where real life just kicks ass and exhausts. We're still dragging the session just so we can have it on for the night. Just because we want to make sure everyone get a chance to play. So in terms of the character, like. If she's getting mad about it, she would have said something about it already. She's not one to really hold back on that kind of stuff.
Sorry,
That's
I was
fair.
being. That's fair.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
at a certain point, like they'll bring Gareth back in and probably have some stuff that's like going to be like a critical moment with him. But I think Lash is more of like the main character for her.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to check in, which I guess it would be within her power to be like, "Hey, Mark, I'm tired of them fucking asking about Gareth. Can you just like make sure they know he's dead or something?" Like,
He's
but
Great blaze of glory.
well, no, I'm saying like if I had like, so for example, if I had gotten tired of playing Mordecai for whatever fucking reason, I can't imagine why. And wanted to just like suddenly like hit the brakes, stop playing him, switch to another character. Uh, personally, if I was getting annoyed with all the mentions and I wonder what he's doing, I'd ask Mark like, give him a blaze of glory and make sure we know about it. Like,
Yep. And I know I said this at near the start as well as the halfway, and I'll make one more mention of it again. If anyone ever needs to bow out because either life is too much or maybe you're just not having fun or some other reason entirely, I am perfectly fine having an honest, open conversation about that and making damn sure the bow out is a good one, respectful to you, respectful to your character, and respectful to the group that we've been sharing for this whole damn time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's a good way to handle it.
yeah, it's like it is definitely scary because I actually had to bow out for a campaign I was with Colby in. It was the Cyberpunk campaign that we were doing with Nikki, and it was a time. I like the group was fun, just everything with life as well as my own mentality for the game itself. I had to back out, and I had an open and honest conversation with Nikki, and we worked it out. We had a hell of an exit for my character in that campaign, and it was a time. It was a time. Hey, and speaking of the devil, Union was also in that campaign.
Say like as someone who's currently running Cyberpunk Red, I'm glad I designed the game to be drop in drop out because there are some systems that will be more like job or mission focused versus like an RP experience like what we experienced with Arcadia.
Mm.
So I definitely get where you come from, and like I appreciate you offering us that. So if that ever has to be an option, we know we have that to fall back on.
Oh yeah. And kind of jumping back to character importance. When you're ready for it, Erica. Because god damn it, when you're ready for it. Gareth has some very big important moments to play. Oh man. God, that we've set up since session 0. Oh man.
Oh yeah, Mordecai is excited to bump into Gareth again, but after learning the thing about the legs, he is also dreading that conversation.
Oh yeah.
Oof. Hey, I found part of your wife. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
That work on it a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm wearing her.
Workshop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Workshop,
Oh my
workshop.
god. Workshop.
yeah, it's like how the fuck do you bring that up to someone? Like,
Yeah. There's no easy way to say that unless
hey
you
man,
literally I accidentally turn you into lady legs again.
yeah, it's like, hey man, you want a hug part of your wife?
And the
Hey, here,
funny,
hold this.
oh jeez, I threw a really fun hint for that for one of our earlier sessions. It was the ghost train session when you guys all had dreams.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because we didn't hear each other's.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear each other's dreams.
Mm.
But if you ever go back and watch those videos, God, my animation that I had on there was cringy, but going back and watching the videos, um, there's lore moments that's dropped. Gareth being able to communicate with his stasis slash ghost wife,
Well, cuz
Mordecai.
like I remember after that he was like he wouldn't talk at all to any
Oh
of
yeah, I know
us.
he was pissed.
Full on
Cuz I'm
silence.
the one I'm the one that got all of us out of it.
Yep. Yeah, you actually, you and Eris,
Mm. Yes.
because
Yes.
No, just Alashi.
just the Lashi, just the Lashi. You were the first to wake up, and then you helped wake up everybody else.
Yeah, that's another thing. Eris was such a blow to like Mordecai's sense of like justice and like doing good,
Yep.
you know? 'Cause, like, because he was all like, if I was in her spot, I'd want someone to let me out. You know,
Yep.
we didn't know nothing about her. We didn't know if it was an ancient Selvite or if it was someone who wandered on the train before us and just got fucking cryo frozen. We didn't know.
Mhm.
I take her bill. Uh,
Hi,
and,
mom.
like,
Tinkerbell's my mom.
oh, I was Gomez.
Oh no! Don't call her that. She'll eat you alive.
That's another thing. I didn't know beforehand how much trouble I was getting into with Eris.
She
and
she
ease
she
right back
will
into it.
she will say she's a Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know better. I
No,
apologize.
no, you're good. You're good. You're
Uh,
fine.
but yeah, so all the dumb shit Eris has gotten into ahead of time, or sorry, not ahead of time, but since, like
Yep.
Mordecai feels partially responsible for.
Yeah.
But like, and like he couldn't believe the party when they're like, I don't know, we should let her out. I'm like, do you see this person stuck, like, in a tube, right? Like, what are we gonna do? Just leave him behind?
Mhm.
And then like everyone immediately like went, was trying to send Mordecai to horny jail over it. I'm like, that was not the motivation.
Right. Yeah.
It's
It was
it's great because I always love playing on that too. Because like she's still like, maybe what if, and like you're like, no, fuck you, die.
yeah, absolutely not. Like,
She's like, yeah, you know what, you're still like, she's like, yeah, I mean, 10 out of 10,
like,
I'd do again.
like,
Would you? Would Mordecai?
her? Absolutely not. The only
Oh wow! Absolutely not.
the only
Mm.
the only thing he's gonna give her is a swift death if possible. Like,
Jeez.
Oh man.
oh, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? Like, she is just a self-proclaimed and proven agent of fucking chaos.
Yep.
She
Uh-huh.
literally woke up from a 1,000-year slumber and chose violence,
She did.
Yes.
right? And like, she's clearly a capable person. So like, Mordecai is so like, things could have been so different if you had just chilled the fuck out,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
waited a little bit before you
I mean, didn't
decided.
you technically like help your family
She did.
When?
recently?
So the two things that she did, she
Because
hinted
my
at,
understanding is she's holding them hostage.
no, she's the one who's been quote unquote semi the voice of reason in Arthur's ear when it comes to
Yeah.
like drastic measures against you and the party.
Yeah, so like when that whole thing happened with the communicator pearls, and then like he sent a threat about your family, and then they all showed up in the bar together, she technically like kind of helped your family.
See, Mordecai at this point is seeing that as like you were holding, like
It's a manipulation tactic.
No,
Yeah,
because
sure.
the difference, because what she
you
said,
were
the difference,
holding-
because I remember the difference that she said is like, it could have been a threat versus now it's just a warning, and she's there to try to keep it that way because that's why she introduced herself as like, oh yeah, like got the hots for Mordecai.
Oh, having the Y in front of his own fucking father like that too.
That was rough.
Yeah, that was bad. But like Mordecai didn't know like how volatile the situation is. Like if I prove this wrong, is that going to like throw them into the meat grinder? So fuck you. I'll play along a little bit.
Oh
But
yeah.
God fucking damn, like you're gonna get what's coming to you. Cause man.
When the justice happens for Eris, I bet it will be sweet, sweet revenge. But I also laugh at just playing those moments in, and especially just
You have so many easy piss off buttons for Mordecai in this game.
I do. I tried to build up more for the rest of the party, and with Vrost, I think Vrost is the hardest one because with Vrost, I either have to take a very hard shot at Vrost's pride, but he builds himself back up again. So it's finding that middle ground of like, all right, where is this fun versus where it's me just picking on you?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like if I had a mind to, like, I could definitely set Frost the fuck off.
I mean, you definitely know like a little more of like the inner workings. Mark, on the other hand, a little more trouble as like because him and I have known each other for so long.
Oh god,
like
yeah.
I can work with whatever he throws my way. So if he wants to try to insult Rost or like hurt his pride or anything, like he's got to come out swinging for it.
I gotta go deep into the trenches.
Oh, I was thinking more actions than words. But like shit Mordecai would never do. But if I was the DM and I wanted to piss like Frost at the person off, sorry, the character, I don't want to like throw shit into the void and like have it happen in campaign and be like Frost, I'm sorry. And you know what? Maybe you got it in your back pocket. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe, possibly.
Yeah. But fuck. But yeah, you just have to like start a sentence with the word Eris, and I'm just like, ugh, or like just throw on a hint into the loco voice, and I'm like, ugh.
Yep.
So I will not to go and catch up. I will sit and touch on that. If you guys had to try to roast the other characters in character, what would be your saying for it? Like, what would you be like your roast for it?
Oh my god.
A roast off. All right.
Or let me go to the bathroom real
don't
quick. I'm
know.
listening.
Like, I know 100% Frost, if he was to say, hey, Blondie, Delashi's fired up, ready to fight him.
The eye roll. The eye roll right there.
Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. God, you do that so much, Mark. Ugh.
What?
And then there's like
You
when
do that
Frost was
so with the NPCs. You do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
like if Ross was trying to insult Mordecai, like you can go light with like, oh, you're vengeance for shit, or oh, I use you as a fucking snowboard. But if he really wanted to dig deep, he would probably be like, hey, I fucked your mom the other night when we were there in in
Not
your
his
village.
family.
Oh god.
Not going after his family.
If
Oh,
he
no.
wanted to go deep and hurt, it's
He
to
would.
the family. is what
That's
possibly is.
immediate Mordecai swinging at you.
It really is.
Like I can already
Especially
sense like the face
his
Tillen's
mom.
making.
Yeah. While he's listening.
But yeah, that would be like he would have to dig so deep and like really want to piss off Mordecai to say some shit like that.
The good catch 22. If I want to get under Elisha's skin, I turn my rolls to public and pray to the luck gods that I just roll better than Elisha and just be like, all right, there you go.
Elisha gets really competitive for rolls.
What are your thoughts, Tillen?
Sorry?
What are your
Well,
thoughts?
if it was just a simple like, oh, I fucked your mom last night, it'd be like I think Mordecai would be like, there's no fucking way you made an attempt and made it out one piece. But if it was like, I mean, there's worse insults you could do for family, like threats and shit, and like like if you pushed it and meant it, yeah, that's an easy swing.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. Like if Ross wanted to go and like push Mordecai's button, it'd be like family is the first thing he'd target on it.
Yeah, because that like you said, he's an open book.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he makes no secret of what's important to him. So it
Being an open book is a weakness.
Yeah.
It is. It leaves you open for attack.
Yeah. And like, yeah, because if you insulted him with stuff like that, like he lived in, he was a prisoner in Valua for like 6 fucking years. He's used to it. Like, sure, say whatever you want about me, right? But like, the second you pick on someone that he cares about that's not there to defend himself, it's like, okay, hold on a second.
Hold on a sec.
But yeah, no, Mordecai is absolutely used to getting like, like shat on, insulted, treated as lesser, just because that he was a war prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Who was given an amount of freedom, but then they gave him just enough in a situation where like okay, so well, let me finish that sentence, I guess. So like they gave him like just enough freedom in a situation where like it was not just him but others that would benefit from him making an escape attempt. But he bounced. He saw his chance and he took it. But if he had gone on that mission by himself, like without like other people that were being treated as prisoners and stuff, I don't know if he would have taken that chance.
Oh yeah.
Really?
But because it wasn't just about him anymore, the math checked out for him, and he's like, "Fuck it."
So now I throw the
So
shoe
tell
under the
me-
foot. What would you use to roast the other character?
Yeah, that's really what I was gonna ask.
Oh fuck.
Since you were gone for that part of the conversation.
Elisha, I think I would go after like her pride and her personal skills and make like a competition out of it. I feel like that'd get her fired up really easily. Just from what we know about her. Ross, going after his pride might be something along the lines of like, you keep calling yourself captain, but you're no fucking way anywhere near captain material. Like, like you could barely keep a hold of one ship, and you want a fucking fleet? Absolutely not. Or if that didn't work, he'd probably try to make an insult on his father or Elisha, because Ross has showed he's protective. Yeah.
Oh, if you went
not his
that
father.
route, like that would like you would get shanked.
Like,
Like
I know.
like knife in hand, buried as deep, and he would twist his bullet out. Like
This is off who?
His father.
Yeah.
That'd be very bad.
Oh. Then Delashi? I don't know, like there is the low hanging fruit of like the time he almost got pimped out, calling him Blondie, shit like that.
Yeah.
I had something like I don't know if Delashi would take this to heart or not, but it'd be something along the lines of like, you fill up this air of mystery, but no one really gives a shit. Like you're not nearly as
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
you're not nearly as
damn. All right.
Oh yeah,
you're not
like
nearly
you're
as
Why am
forgotten.
alarming of
I
a
the one being
mystery.
really roasted right now? Like that's a true roast. Damn, everybody else is going after each other's families. No, I'm going after you personally.
No.
Jesus.
Well, no, my first thing of Lisha would have, like I said, would have probably been like, a roast against like their skill that they take pride in,
Mm.
and turn it into a
No,
competition.
mine is just my whole self and my being.
Well,
I'm just giving you shit.
yeah, and I'm saying like you pride yourself on being a closed book, and I'm saying there's dust, like you're dusty on the shelf for a fucking reason.
Jesus. All right. All right. I'm gonna remember this.
This was an out of character prompt. What the fuck you mean, Delashi?
Yeah, I know
Delashi
it's
will
out of
remember.
character. I know it's out of character.
Okay. And like I said, Mordecai would likely never. But since I was asked, and I had to
What
think
would
about it,
push him to say that though?
I don't.
What would push him to say that?
Probably retaliation to something that you said.
Hmm.
But Mordecai's not really the swing first on the insult thing.
Hmm.
He'll swing first on the fight if he knows it's coming. But
Yeah.
And there are certain things I think Mordecai would swing first. Definitely
fair.
a few
That's
things
fair.
in mind.
That's fair. Yeah.
I have a fun
Very
little
nice.
hypothetical right now
Okay.
for each of the crew. What will you No, maybe this won't hit as hard as I think it would.
Finish your sentence.
Say it.
After you guys get your memories back, what would be the first thing that you guys say to either Rias or Alex?
Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Not my problem.
Who? Okay. Unpopular
I don't
opinion.
even want
'Cause
to think about that right now.
So I know Alex technically is part of the reason why we survived, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, my main reason for suggesting to bring him was so he would be actively helpful during the fight, not after it. Alex, what the fuck? You could probably take all four of us, and you sat and watched. Like you would have been, your presence on the battlefield would have been at the very fucking least another body to probably dodge almost everything you get
that
thrown
was
at. No,
more
I'm
of
not
a
done.
Mark
I'm not done.
error than an Alex error.
I'm not fucking done. He is very clearly
Please.
a badass in martial and or magic. He can manipulate magic. He probably would have been able to disrupt some of the shit Arthur was throwing at us. Like he could have been our
I
fucking
had
blue
him
magic
intervene
gathering
like
player.
3 times.
Oh, like 3 times.
Okay, how many rounds of combat were there?
3 times.
It was 5 rounds of combat.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I'm the whole reason why we lasted longer because I used my limit break.
Yeah, and good work. I'm just saying,
Thanks.
if Arthur was more present to take advantage of that, it might have worked out a little differently, maybe. So
Honestly.
so Mordecai would probably be like, "Okay, we're all alive. I'm glad you're safe. What the fuck? Where were you?"
From what I recall, what I had done, because that was after you guys fell through the hole and went past and everything else.
Mhm.
He was taking care of your brother. Because your brother was ready to fight.
We had him there with us.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so I basically took your brother and Alex out of the equation and then just had Alex intervene in certain moments that I rolled for.
okay. See, I feel like I had
But-
Nitok like on the edge, doubting like all the fucking decisions he had made.
He was
Like,
definitely doubting, but he was like, from what I recall, and I can go back and watch it again, there was still moments where he's like, I have to fight on this side.
I don't remember.
We'll go back and watch. We
I
got
mean,
the replay.
and
We
now
don't
we
need to
know
remember
it was
but-
it started because of the family, right?
Yep.
His whole involvement.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that's another thing. When Mordecai comes to and realizes all the shit that Nitok has done on this side that is actively threatening and taking his family hostage and would have swung on me. Yeah. Bro, what the fuck? Like, oof.
Big oof.
Rias, I have very little to say to her just because I didn't meet her beforehand. So
That's more of a Delashi impact.
My only memories of
it
her are currently intact. I think I would probably say, take the mark off, please.
Yeah, Rias is just like looking at the rest of the group and being like, you just mostly interact with my husband, and then just full open palm points at Delashi. It's like, this one, on the other
I
hand.
think I handled that very well. I think I handled it well. It could have gone so much worse.
Oh, it could have gotten really ugly. Yeah.
With the whole Rias situation, sadly, you guys are more guilt by association.
Mhm.
I said, not my
Thanks.
problem.
Yep.
Which comes to shove, Alex agreed to come.
Oh yeah, and Alex is like,
Oh.
yeah, fuck it, I
was also wanting him to stay back, and somebody convinced him to go.
That was Frost.
No, I think
It was Mordecai.
Yeah.
It was Mordecai? Oh, I thought it was
It
Frost.
was Mordecai. No,
thought-
it was Mordecai.
I know
'Cause
I
I was
definitely
like-
had a chat with him about it just because I knew we were going into some shit.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
But between like in character like signs that like this is bigger than we thought, and the out of character warnings for the DM of "Are you sure?" of like, "Hey, bro, listen, I know you're like an overpowered NPC that the DM really likes. Could you fight on our side during the fight, please? Thank you. Maybe make a difference. I don't know." So yeah, that was part of the thought process. There was like trying to keep as many of our side alive as possible.
Oh man.
See how well that went.
Yeah, well.
What?
I was gonna say we are alive, but
You are alive.
yeah,
At what cost?
that was once again a very interesting, if divisive, way to handle a party wipe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say thank you?
Yeah, I did say
Fuck
thank
you. No, fuck you.
you.
God.
Oh man.
It was interesting. I think if you came to me and for like a different campaign and said, "Hey, I think I'm going to implement this again," like I might offer some suggestions on tweaking it just to make it more palatable.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I don't see me using this as a device for any of my games for a time to
I think
come.
you would literally get stabbed. Like if you did this to us, Mark, if you did this to us in person, not only give us a party wipe and then all of a sudden give us all of these things, I would have slapped you. Like I'm not kidding. Like because okay, we made mistakes. Okay.
Yeah.
Party wipe, not a great thing, but it happened.
Yeah.
But then we got like double, triple, quadruple punished for it.
See, but you got to keep your
And
character.
it's like prolonged. Yes, I do appreciate that, but it needs to be scaled.
I feel like we've had this conversation. Forgive me for diverting this. You've never had a like a D&D character like flat out die, right?
Nope.
You never had to go through that. Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-mm.
It's
And I hope I never do.
see, like, and I'm gonna sound like a dickhead for saying this, but I sincerely hope you do.
No,
Just
I
no, hear me out. Like in a setting where coming back is an option. Let me clarify that.
okay.
Because having played a character that died, and one, it wasn't even my quest; it was for a party member's quest, like something related to their backstory. I thought I was doing fine. I fucked up one. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I did something the boss didn't like, and he got a really nasty hit on me with necrotic damage, and he got a lucky crit too. That was the thing. I thought I was gonna eat it, and he did like enough extra damage where it was just done. And it was just such a shocking moment of like, holy fuck. That the DM looks down and goes, "How much health do you have?" Holy shit, I think you're dead. What are Jackal's last words? And
Oh
just
my god.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
and like just getting that, like hitting that, and like I had a good one for the party. I don't know if it'd make as much impact here, without some explanation. Uh, but I looked at the person closest to me. I said, "Burn them all down," which I can get into the details of that later. But I felt like it was a really good moment, and just watching the rest of the party panic and figure out like, holy fuck, we gotta down the boss. Can we bring him back? What are our options? I didn't pack Revivify. Oh fuck. Like just taking a moment and like just transitioning to spectator for that was really interesting as a player. Like just like holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then getting to come back and being like, working with the DM, like, what do I see? What happens in between? Uh, it was huge. It really helped me understand the setting better as far as the in between shit, which in Eberron there's basically a purgatory I got to walk around in.
Oh yeah.
I made contact with something in there. And when I came back to life, I had a thing he handed me in purgatory.
Okay.
Like some kind of weird, potentially cursed object. But like this is still a being I have a connection to. I have speaking with. I don't know. That may not translate to your experience, but just the experience of like, holy fuck, what would my character's last words be in this fucking moment? How does everyone react in and out of character around? It was really telling, by the way, of just the bonds, and not to get too sappy. But I could talk about this shit for hours. Like it's fascinating to me. And then like the resurrection ritual and like my DM does it like Matt Mercer style, where like you have to like contribute to the ritual and makes my check easier. And so like, what meaningful thing do you do to bring me back? And then I had a choice in the end.
Yeah.
So I sincerely wish that experience on you in the best way possible at some point.
Yeah. I think that if it's a character that I am not as attached to, I would be okay. But I get very attached to my characters.
As you should.
So, and I've had some like serious stuff happen in my life that mentally, like for my character, like I was already a wreck from what happened in this, and we weren't even dead. So it's just like I think that if it did happen, it would have to be with like a DM that isn't harsh about it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's done a certain way. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, and like different comfort levels, different resistances to that. I totally get. So yeah, I don't know. It was just the sudden shock of it, and then like getting to talk to the players, because our DM like once the session ended, we went out for drinks immediately, and just chatted about like what the fuck happened and like some of the players' reactions to like what would happen if I don't come back at all. People had like character plans for like the druid was going to take a level in rogue if I didn't come back.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just really flushes
Mhm.
out the humanity of the party. I feel like if they have to
Yeah.
watch someone just go.
Mhm.
But anyway, like I said, I can rant about that for hours, and I've done enough. So
You're good.
You're good.
closing thoughts. I wish the best possible character death experience for you at least once.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll jump in a little
Thank
bit
you
on that.
so
Like, I
much.
definitely feel that a character death can be very, not only prolific, but a very beautiful moment for a player.
Mhm.
Getting, like, everyone definitely has connections to the characters. There's a lot of different ones that I know to the games I've played, you know, very iconic moments. And probably the most iconic form is their death.
Mhm.
It definitely sucks to have a character die and just be straight up, like, killed, and you have to kind of, like, let things play out after that. A lot of systems do offer a way of bringing them back, but it still has that how you say, like, not really like the bitterness, but like the taste is still there. Like,
Yeah.
Death is an interesting mechanic because
mhm,
as players, you're always trying to work around it to get the most of your character, and then as a DM, it is supposed to be a tool that I use to show the finite of things, whether it's a death
Mhm.
of an NPC, death of a player, death of a moment, and trying to integrate that is very challenging because especially a party wipe
mhm.
can literally mean the end of a campaign.
Yeah, that's something I
And
haven't gone through actually.
like there's I know for me it's not something I could do in my campaigns. Like the only pseudo death I could ever do once in Arcadia would be what I did for you guys. Like because of the world setting, because of everything else, there's nothing else that I have on the table that could constitute a party wipe that wasn't just this is the actual end. Um as for other games, I have something in mind for a game in the future whenever it happens, whatever, however, where I want if there's a party wipe for literally the party to fight their way out of the underworld, out of the
Mhm.
afterlife,
Yeah,
and get back to their bodies.
just go full Kratos on it. Absolutely.
Exactly. Um, for Kingdom Hearts, it's a bit mixed, where heartless are very much a thing, where you basically are turned on your party, turned on your friends, and that's fighting for your life back. So it's an interesting tool to kind
Yeah,
of
there's definitely like some good elements that you can have from it. It's just
yeah.
getting to that point.
Yep. It's a fine slippery slope.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know with the Cyberpunk, I mean, like, character death's supposed to happen like a lot. Like, it's supposed to be fucking brutal. But with other games, I definitely appreciate what you've done so far in Arcadia with it. Like, yeah, it sucks that we kind of had our like game over, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to kind of go back and redo that moment, especially to see like the Gigas fight, like how it was originally supposed to be going.
Oh yeah.
But all in due time, though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We can have our what if episodes, or again,
Yeah.
there's elements of that can still be worked into, redemption moment.
Hmm.
That's a fun concept actually. Is post campaign, like once we like officially like end the campaign,
Yep.
we go back and we revisit some like what if moments. That so now that the campaign's over, you could be fully transparent about it.
Yep.
and be like, okay, let's rewind to this spot, but if you had done this, and just run it like
we've
an extra
talked
boss
about
fight, or
that
like a lower spell.
once, because the very start of the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
you literally had the moment to choose whether you want to stay in Valua or side with the Bane clan right there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
Because-
means like at that point, just thinking about it, if you guys stayed in Valua, there probably would have been a point where you guys had to fight Vross.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Mm.
ooh.
Yep.
See, like that's what I'm saying. Like that'd be a fun way to like, dot all the I's, cross all the T's on like a post-campaign thing. Is like just the optional fights that you had ready and never got to, like all the boss fights we missed, and like some of the like the other like potential like.
Oh, like this giant fucking spider in the sky?
Yeah. Fuck that thing. We're not fighting it. But that'd be a fun way, like I don't know if we'd like plan on staying as a group and picking up another campaign with the same group, but like in between while that's getting set up, that'd be a fun way to fill the weeks.
Oh yeah.
Or, this is something I did for my my Deus Vault players at one point. Is they came in, and watched some like pivotal NPCs do a fight that they had to be excluded from because they were in the process of being evacuated from a city under attack, where these NPCs were holding the line, and they got a flowery description of them holding the line. And then next week they all showed up, and I handed them the NPCs' character sheets and said, "Do it."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because they're like their mentor characters. Like they fought and died while everyone was getting teleported out and evacuated. So it was like the hold the line, buy as much time as you can thing. And so the roles were kind to me, and I got to everything stayed like about the same as it should have, or as it did in the description. Some like minor details got changed, but everything ended up like it was supposed to. But they felt more connected to it, and they were handed like level like 13 character sheets for this. And so they also got a much more mechanical sense of like, holy fuck. Like, not just these guys aren't just narratively powerful, but they're wiping out a party of 3 level 13s.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but it was fun. It was just it was a nice way to drop them into a different perspective, and I've considered doing more of it in the future. It's just the more used to their characters and their items you get, it gets riskier dropping them into really high levels of different classes and stuff they have no experience with, because then they get handed a character with like predetermined like spells and gear that I think the character would have,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're gonna be spending most of the session like, what the fuck does this spell do, and not really knowing how to play the class type shit. So
Saying
the first
such.
time, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll continue.
I'll go. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna wrap up with the characters they were handed were all higher level versions of what they were already going for anyway.
Hey, nice. Speaking on spells and other things, because I know it is getting later in our night, do you want to talk about that real quick and flush that out maybe a little bit?
Oh, potential combos?
Yeah. Or at least just questions that you guys have in regards to items, spells, abilities, things in general.
Speaking of the combos, I mean, it's kind of out of desire of the problem solver as is, because like to have the capability of tapping into something like that, I think is like really cool. I can really hope that as time goes on, I can get a mastery of like different magics and really make it work.
Yeah.
That is the game plan.
Because when I first presented it to you, Mark, I was going to talk about how it's going to use the blue magic at the distance, while the red magic is still like the actual damage.
Yes.
So the problem solver is very much something that I even explained at the beginning of the game, is having specific enchantments done on an item or weapon that does a specific function that you can mitigate and subvert the rule of using multiple cast magic. Because if you have something that does specifically one thing, that enchantment provides that one thing. You can't really alter or change what it is, but if you use it to its certain effectiveness, then you can just alter the primary magic of what you're using, and then, like, again, alter the blast range, alter it into different shots, change it from a single shot to a wider shot, things like that. There are certain spells that fundamentally are written with a base language of a video game that we then take to a creative level in a tabletop and say, okay, how would I rework this into doing more? And that was essentially the groundwork for what I wanted to do at the start of this. Like, just to have that understanding of, okay, here is what you guys can easily learn. Now let's take the creativity that I know you all are capable of and pour that into potential future plans. Mixing wind magic with various poison clouds, or
What do I think I was about to ask?
Thing that I showed Lisha was using the wind-based spell to, instead of it doing it for damage, use it to whisper messages across various distances.
Yeah, that's not something I would have thought of for myself.
Yep. Using healing magic instead of just doing straight healing, instead combining it with things with the nature to grow plants or beasts that you could use as an asset in battle.
You know, you mentioned healing magic, and it just takes me back to the first time Ross is like, "I can heal myself." Puts barrel underneath chin. Like, that shit was so fucking funny. Like, the
Persona.
reactions were perfect.
Yep. Everybody looking like you're crazy, man.
Like, oh my god, like it's one of those game moments that like you just try it, and sure enough, like it works how you want it to work.
Yep. Here's another one. Here's a good one for you, Mordecai. This would be more up your alley as far as things that you could think about, but as it stands, I think only Ross is capable of doing this, because your yellow magic. You don't have much yellow magic, correct, Mordecai? Or do you?
I know I have access to some of the electric chain, and I've cast drone before.
Okay. So this is something that you could work towards and probably do more, and under your understanding in character, and even Ross's understanding in character, there are stuff that you could do with the drill nose or the drillin spell to siphon energy and then redirect that energy. So say if Rost, I don't know, finds a nice power grid and spends a turn using drillnos to siphon energy from a source, and then subverts it after like a turn or two to use said source on an opponent or on a thing, he could do a different modification for his weapon or gun, provided what he says he does.
Okay.
Or, like, there are some things that you could do with that, some things that you couldn't. Like, you could technically charge your weapon to its capacity. You couldn't like charge it, be like, all right, I want to triple, quadruple, quintuple power my shot. No, no, no. You will have a damage cap because otherwise you will charge it so much that you burst your weapon. However, think of it this way. You drill in on a power source and you see another power source that maybe you can't reach, but maybe you want to activate or utilize from a distance. You can instead channel that energy into your gun and then shoot it out from your gun to that power source.
Okay.
Either perhaps powering something, or say if someone had a small ship or a vessel, you could overcharge their vessel and get them to move or veer off course.
So yeah, because the only description I could find for drill notes, just really the keyword is drain and weaken.
Correct.
So
So
that's something I would have considered.
you get to drain a source of energy or drain power from an opponent. So that still keyword is drain. You are taking it from somewhere and placing it elsewhere.
Mm.
There is some loosey goosey stuff that even if you don't know if it may or may not work, you could pitch it to me and I'll be like, fuck it, rule of cool, let's go with that shit.
Speaking of, would I be able to, like, just for the sake of combining spells, like say Dalashi is going to cast what's the normal ice spell you cast, Dalashi?
I don't really use the spell names, to be honest.
Okay.
I will think about where I'm going to dip out. So it's been a great conversation. I love having something like this. So I'm going to catch you guys next time.
No, your
Okay.
problem. Have a good one, man.
Bye.
Please see y'all.
Bye. It
Yeah, I
should
don't
be
really use spell names.
Okay.
Crystale.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be
So
that one.
say I declare like a combined cast, because that's
Mhm.
something you've said we could do from day one. Like,
Correct.
if I want to combine cast an Incrum into whatever spell effect Dalashi's doing, can I, depending on what they roll, if they were going to cast Crystali, it becomes Crystales? Or if they were going to roll Crystales, it becomes Crystallum, like it just bumps it up one?
Yes.
Okay.
In that terms, yes. So
So I
using
just,
it directly on that spell would increase the size of that spell, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Another thing with ice, you're familiar with how Destiny handles like the stasis element, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like you make crystals, you shatter the crystals, the shattered crystals do big damage in an area around it.
Correct.
So would I potentially be able to dual cast like Pyre with Dalashi's Crystali and attempt like in the flavoring, like as soon as the ice wall comes up, the fireball detonates and the pressure just shoots the shards outward and like what every area adjacent to where the crystal is.
For that one, I would say no, but you would have a different effect. Because of the nature of those two spells, being direct counterparts to each other, instead of creating something that would do a blast burst, you would instead create a like melted impact wave. So you would heat and destroy the ice to where it would just flood an area.
Okay.
So less so much actual impact and damage as more so terrain changing as well as setting up other such status effects. So you are essentially water walling everybody.
So with that thought process in mind, if I cast like a stronger, like if I roll really good on my magic, which fat chance, but for the sake of the argument, if I rolled like a high level fire spell, could I argue that ice melting be transitioned more like a flash steam, and you just have this wave of heat that just rolls over and like
Yes.
burns people? Okay.
Um,
And maybe
depending
obscures
on
the airs because of the steam.
it would obscure, and it would do less damage, but it would still do some.
Okay. Now, question, just because the thought process, if I were to cast like one of my electric spells on ice, would that shatter effect occur?
Depending. For the electric, I would say more so that it wouldn't do a large burst or shatter, as so much so it would create a conduit to wherever the ice was made, it would do a charge that would affect those in the area.
Okay.
So imagine like a pulsing conduit that would affect those around it,
Mm-hmm.
either giving negatives to an enemy's roll or making them re-roll.
Well, actually, I'm gonna ask just because my brain
Hmm.
is mush today. What other spells can you consistently cast?
Ooh. I have
Because I primarily
blue.
see you slinging ice.
I also
Unless it is
have.
wild magic, it is mostly ice that gets slung.
I also have some specific ones. I have a
Ooh,
teleportation spell now. I can
that's
do
fun.
Webless, which is the 3rd level blue.
Okay.
Mm, Glaciolbstrom, which is the one that I can lock a moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think those are the 3 that I solidly can cast outside of.
Now, for some of the stuff like Glaciobstrom, it is a lot harder to combine magic with those type of spells, but
Mhm.
there are some combinations that may be possible.
So, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
If Delashi is going into a fight and being like, "I'm about to Delashi, yes, I'm about to cast wild magic." If I run over and try to like inject Incrum into that conduit, does that help their? Would that give them more leeway in choosing their outcome for the roll?
For Glaciobstrom?
No, for
No, for wild
wild
magic.
magic. If I just inject like wherever the fuck comes out, here's a boost. Because you I know
Okay,
I know
so
you
with
roll a
wild
D100.
magic,
I know you roll a D100, and there's a range that Delashi can have some influence in. Correct? Is that
mm-hmm.
I understand
Higher
it?
low, yeah,
Yes,
that's
So,
what
higher
it
low.
is now.
so if I inject wild magic, does that increase the wiggle room that Delashi has for choice?
Yes, but it has the potential to also backfire.
Okay.
So
Backfire, how?
here's the
If
thing.
it's a point blank explosion, it's now more powerful.
Depending on the magic roll, so your magic versus the Lashi's wild magic, if your magic is too powerful, then it will overpower Delashi's magic and
Well, that's
have
probably not gonna happen.
maybe some sort
Let's
of
say I don't think
backfire.
that's gonna happen.
Reversely, if your magic is too low, it won't have an effect on Delashi's magic.
Mhm.
Because the nature of the wild magic is it could be a tier 3 spell or it could be a tier 1 spell.
Mhm.
Depending on which, if it's a tier 1 spell and you roll low, it has more of a chance of affecting it. If you roll low and it's a high tier spell, it's not going to affect it at all. Now, if you can kind of match it, then you have the chance of affecting it. But then it also has to be a spell that with wild magic can affect it in a proper means. Otherwise, you were leaving it also to chance.
Mhm. Okay.
So it could be a good effect that hits all the enemies in a cone or range or foot and woo, combination wild magic. Or it could be something that, oh shit, it was maybe a different type of spell that you weren't thinking about
and now instead of a healing spell, it's a poisonous burst that just kind of blows up in your face.
Jeez, I would never try to heal somebody with wild magic. Can you imagine?
You've done it before, not on purpose. You've
Well,
accidentally
You're
healed.
yeah.
either going to feel a
I
lot
know,
better,
I've
or you're not going to have to worry about it.
I've never gone into it like, all right, let's see if I get a healing spell. You know.
Yes.
Speaking of going back on the combination of things, I'm just going to rattle off thoughts I have on this and see if I get a yes or no.
Yeah, go ahead.
Combining like a green magic cure with an ice thing. Call it a healing pillar. Like everyone adjacent to it can benefit from the healing effect.
I don't think it would be a healing pillar. I do think it would be a damage absorber. So if someone is next to that healing ice pillar, instead it would take the damage for them for like one hit or something.
Okay, that's still cool. So like a tank totem.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Still going on green magic. Let's see. Dalashi, you said you have Livlum?
Blizz.
Livles?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the 3rd level blue.
It's the wind spell.
So tornado stalked with blades of water forms tears around a single foe, doing damage to target any foes nearby. Healing wind.
A healing wind. Can technically happen.
Okay.
However, its effectiveness is more diminished.
I mean, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting dissipated. Same thing I imagine for like a poison cloud, like just make a gust of wind. I'm gonna puff some poison in it. We're gonna see who we catch.
Yes.
Using wind to fuel a fire spell.
Specifically because of the nature of the blue wind spell, actually cancels it out.
Oh. Boo.
Yeah. There are some spells that just cancel each other out. Not all combinations are great.
So does it just fizzle, or do they like violently put each other out? Like
specifically if it's the Windblade one, that one would violently put that one out.
It could still be effective.
Could we potentially like use that as like a concussive blast to push people? If it just
I would say yeah, it could be used as potentially a movement spell.
Okay. We basically have a concussion grenade now. That's all that sticks out to me that's obvious. So I can use yellow magic to drain power sources, potentially feed it into other stuff.
There's also a really big thing that I think everyone's forgotten, and that we're also so close to being able to utilize, but Dalashi isn't there yet. I won't beat around the bush. Remember everything with Elias?
Yeah.
Who?
Elias touching Gross's gun.
Oh yeah.
Now it gave that different effect. There's also those. Just Dalashi needs to learn that spell.
Yep.
When that happens, oh my god. Oh, so much is on the table. And so far, technically, including Elias, I think there's only 5 people who are capable of using that spell in the world right now.
Wow.
Random superpower child. No big deal.
Because enough time has passed, Lord Bane is one. I've name dropped the other person. And the other ones are hidden.
Was it one of the Voluin generals?
No. It's someone who was on the list that was also with Dalashi and their father.
Experimentation list.
Yep.
It's me. I can use it.
I mean, if you could use it, there'd be definitely something interesting that involves you.
Oh.
It was hilarious. Because you remember what happened when the spell was cast on you when Dalashi did it? Do you not?
Oh, I do. While we're talking about spell fix, for silver magic, I think I still have access to like Curia.
Yep.
But apparently Ryzen is supposed to be my second one. How the hell is that going to translate in game?
Ryzen will translate in game to curing fucking
consequences,
yes.
Okay.
Ryzen will only be able to cure level 2, like the 2-point consequence. You need the higher tier to cure the other ones.
Okay.
Or again, therapy sessions.
Well, that's what I was saying. No more therapy sessions.
Okay. That just in the game, it's how you bring back fainted party members.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that would have been handy when we were all getting downed.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on that subject, I guess, and I'm a long way off from this, but Attorney is the
Insta-death spell?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know how the fuck you want to handle that.
The way I handle Attorney is basically a shot of a consequence. However,
Okay, so instead of doing like the physical or will damage, it just goes straight to consequence?
Correct. But however, it can only be used once on an enemy at a time.
Okay.
So the different versions of it will do the 1, 4, and 6.
I see.
Don't I literally have? I have something that can make me just give somebody a consequence, don't I? On my sheet.
It would be on your sheet and in your notes. I unfortunately cannot remember that much. That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yes. Moon's Wrath. I've done it a couple times. Once per session, you no, spend a fate point. Once per session, you can inflict a mild consequence on an enemy.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
When did you get that?
Had that for a while.
How did you get that?
It's a stunt from leveling up.
I know, I'm trying to remember.
That means you approved it.
Yeah.
I did. But I feel like there'd be some sort of lore or actual something attached to it for why I approved it.
Moons are angry, Mark.
I'm looking at my sheet that was posted 8/18/2021.
Fuck, so last year.
Yeah, this isn't a new thing. This has been here for a while. I've used it in fights before.
Yeah, you have. I know you have.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember what in-game reason I gave that was like, yeah, you level up and get it, but like
You didn't
usually
give me an in-game reason.
I thought I did.
I would remember.
Well, never mind then. I need to be better about that then.
Mm.
Take it back.
Write the stuff down.
No, because it's really good.
You have a training arc, that's why.
Oh god.
You got it for late night sessions. I don't know.
All the RPing I've done.
All the
How
RPing.
about that one? There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yep.
There you go.
Have we determined that? I feel like we have, but the Noxy gas is flammable.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Main problem is I think I'm the only one who can cast Noxy, and
Yes.
there's very few people in the party who can reliably combo
Correct.
cast with red magic.
Right.
Would I be able to like jar up some of that gas and basically turn it into like Noxy smoke grenades?
Hmm.
For the sake of like a combo move like that? Like,
Yeah, potentially. There's not a good reason for me to say no. But there's
I
a
just
good
taught-
reason. There's a good reason for me to be like, all right, yeah, that's great. Writes down enemies have
Oh.
grenades.
Oh my god.
well, that'd be an
Like
easy way
you
for
need
me.
any help.
Well, that'd be an easy way for me to make like not necessarily a magic combo move, but a combo move of Frost is like,
Oh yeah.
like, okay, Frost, fucking think fast, chuck a grenade, and have him basically like, gunpowder gamble that shit, just shoot it out of the air next to a group of enemies, and all of a sudden they're on fire and they're poisoned.
Mm-hmm. I think I need to either rework or better situate the combat for Arcadia.
Okay.
Because it is just simply hard to have it back and forth.
Another random question, and you don't
Mhm.
need to. I don't need a straight answer for this tonight, but I'd say Delashi's probably our only dedicated like full caster. I feel like Delashi's
Yeah.
got the whip, but you don't really have much occasion to use it.
More of a utility thing.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
fine. I know Mordecai is primarily melee. Vrost is primarily gun, which technically magic, but it's also like not really casting specific
Caster
spells.
Blaster.
Yeah, he's caster blaster. He's like he's effectively a weapon fighter, but it's got elemental damage, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
why shit does a lot of dagger throwing for most of her combat.
Correct. Either dagger throwing or being pissed off and just running up the deck shit.
Yeah. So with that in mind, would you be open to the idea of like combo signature moves that aren't necessarily magical? So instead of like the combo spells, which is something you've been asking us to tilt for a while, which is why I've been barraging you with questions. But if I can,
Yes, that's why the advantage system is a thing. Is you create a scene, whether it's weapon or other based, that allows other people to benefit in that moment that you set up.
Okay.
So if you wanted to set up a martial skill where you're just like, oh, I hook around a dagger into someone's like flowing cape or something else, just to nick and pause them for a moment, and then someone else comes in, boom, you have advantage on that roll. Go.
Okay.
Or bonus to your roll. Boom.
Yeah, because I just had a thought of like if Delashi and I both decided to take like the fight roll together at the same time, like if
Yes.
one of us delayed our turn.
Anything like that, depending on what you say and what you do, I would say any degree of +1, 2, or 3 to whoever you're assisting is their role.
Okay. I just got like the mental image of like Delashi hooking onto someone with the whip and yanking while I'm like with my spear ready to like intercept, and it just hits harder.
Stab a bitch.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yep.
that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Just pull him right on.
Oh yeah. I could.
Or
Yes.
taking the less lethal approach, as they're getting yanked forward, I like, sweep their feet out from underneath them. Now they're prone.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, I did it.
You did it.
I finished.
Sound
You
fire.
ready? Ta-da!
That's cute.
Da-da-da-da. That's adorable flower.
Waving.
Yep. I'm tired.
I think we will call it there for not only the stream but also for the night. I love you both. I'm going to get going. Thank
This
you
was
guys
fun.
for whoever's still here, whoever tuned in. Thank you all. Popping in and out of the chat. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the little chats, communications, talks, just here, there, and stuff.